Hello everyone, welcome. And today I got a bit of a surprise in my email. I got an email from an Indiegogo campaign. This was from AN Technologies or AYN Technologies, however you want to pronounce it. It's for the Odin, the ultimate gaming handheld. It says here it's a flagship gaming handheld, full HD, 1080p 6-inch touchscreen, 5000 or 6000 milliamp hour battery, and that depends on which model you go for, whether you go for the base model or pro model, which battery you get. And also there are some other differences between the two models as well, which we'll get into in this video. But I thought I would just make a video just to take a look at the specs and also the prices that they've announced for this thing. Now, I didn't actually see anybody else make a video about this, so I thought, okay, well maybe I will make a video. In the last few weeks or so, I haven't said this on my channel, but I've actually been madly researching all of these retro handhelds because it's almost like this new space that I haven't really touched on. And I think that was brought on by a lot of the Steam Deck stuff. So I wanted something to play my retro games on, and the retro handheld was a perfect fit for that. But anyway, I might have something in the next week or so on this channel for a retro handheld, so look out for that video. But for now, let's take a look at this Indiegogo campaign for the Odin, the ultimate gaming handheld. Okay, let's jump into the browser and take a look at the Indiegogo campaign. So this Indiegogo campaign will launch on the 19th of August, so it's not live yet, and there's going to be some early bird pricing for this. Now, I don't know if that's going to be 48 hours or a week or even the entirety of the campaign. You just have to wait for more news about that. But I guess in the meantime, you can, I guess, watch this video and make up your mind whether you're in it or not, and the earlier that you decide, obviously, the better it is. As you can see, there's some prices on the right hand side here. We'll get into the pricing in just a second. It's in Hong Kong dollars, but I made a conversion to US dollars, and I'll talk about that in a second. But we're just going to jump straight into the specs of this thing. You can see some features here of the Odin handheld. It's going to be running Android, so for people who like Android, this is the device for you. Now, there are some interesting colors for this. So the Odin Base and Pro, they come with some pretty colorful colors. They've got a purple clear one. I actually like the Odin Light color options a lot. The clear and also the clear black really stand out, and they even have this cold gray, which has the SNES buttons that you found on the ANEO Retro Power. So I think that looks pretty cool as well. So in terms of color options, I think the Odin Light is pretty cool. Okay, let's talk about the specs of the Odin handheld. And we've got a base model and a pro model, but we also have a light model. We'll talk about the light in a second. But the base and pro, the CPU is a Qualcomm Snapdragon SD845 64-bit processor. This was a processor that came out in about 2018, and this was mainly used in high-end mobile phones like a Samsung or a Xiaomi phone. And so this has quad-core Cryo Gold 2.8 GHz high performance cores and quad-core Cryo Silver at 1.8 GHz. These are the efficiency cores. The GPU is an Adreno 630 at 710 MHz. We'll get into how this performs in just a second. Now, the differences between the base and the Pro. The base has 4 GB of LPDDR4X. The Pro has 8 GB of LPDDR4X. I would say that the 8 GB is useful for some pretty, I guess, high-end gaming stuff. So if you really wanted to push the system, you probably want to go for the Pro. I think the 4 GB should be okay for most of the emulator stuff that you want to play. The storage is different as well. So this is 64 GB on the base, and the Pro has 128 GB. I think that's going to be really useful, actually. I think because a lot of people are probably going to have PS1, maybe PSP games, and they're going to be pretty large in size. So if you have, say, like 600 megabytes games on your system, that's already 60 gigabytes. So I think 128 gigabytes is pretty useful here. In terms of the screen, it has a 1080p 6-inch screen, and I think this is something that is going to be really nice in terms of the retro handheld space. Now there are some other specs here. I'm not going to read it all out, so you can go and check it out yourself. But the battery here is different. So the battery is 5,000 milliamp hours, and the Pro is 6,000 milliamp hours. So I think in terms of runtime, you're probably looking at like 2 hours if you're absolutely pushing the system to the max. The 6,000 milliamp hour battery might get you like 2.5 hours. Now there's also a light model as well. Now I have no idea what the Dimensity D1000C is, but I might do a little bit of research. If I find out, I'll put it into the community page. But this has 4 A77 at 2 GHz and 4 A55 at 2 GHz, which seems pretty nice actually when you all things considered. So I think this should be pretty reasonable. Like if you want to play a lot of the emulated games and I think this should be a step up from anything in the retro handheld space. Plus, this is going to be like at around $150, $160. So I think for an extra $30, $40, I think the light machine is actually not that bad. This comes with the 4 GB of LPDDR4X and 64 GB of internal storage. And everything else is pretty much the same as that base model. Okay, so what can you actually play on this thing? Well, if these specs are realized, we can expect to be adding GameCube and Wii to the list of emulators with a high compatibility level. Vast performance improvements will also be made for emulators currently available on RK3326 machines too. Okay, let's take a look at some of the pricing here, and we have the devices on the left, the Hong Kong dollars, and then the US dollars that I've converted. Now the conversion rate is 7.8, so it's $1 US to 7.8 Hong Kong dollars. Now the Super Dock is going to be $50 US, so this is a dock where you can just use it on the TV. It comes with some GameCube or Nintendo 64 ports on the Super Dock as well. So there's a video from Taki Udon, and he's gone in depth about what's in the Super Dock, so go and check that video out. Now the Odin Lite is going to be $165 US. I think that's going to be pretty good value because you have the PowerKitty RGB 10 Max, which has a 5-inch screen and a much lower processor, and that's going to be $120 anyways. So I think this is pretty good value. The Odin Lite. The Odin base is $199, and I think that is also good value to pay $35 to jump up to a Snapdragon processor. The Odin Pro is $250. It comes with that extra 64 GB of internal storage, or 128 GB of internal storage now, and also 8 GB of LPDDR4X memory. So I think in terms of what you can do with it, I think you're going to be able to play the most high-end Android games on that Odin Pro. I think the Odin base should be good enough for a lot of the emulator stuff. Now they also have a super pack. So the super pack comes with the dock, and it also comes with other little bits and pieces, like there'll be a protective case, there's a hard shell, there's some headphones, there's also a charger. So the base models don't come with chargers. So a lot of little things. You can go and check out the website to see what's in the super pack. But you can see that here with the super pack, you're going to be paying almost $100 for that super pack on the Odin Lite, about $100 on the Odin base, and on the Odin Pro you're paying $80. So as I feel like there's almost a bit of a quandary here in terms of the pricing, because as you start to creep up the pricing, you're getting closer and closer to that Steam Deck pricing. I think that they made a decision there not to make that $350 because it's too close to the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck starts at $399. So I almost feel like for people who are getting a Steam Deck anyway, the Steam Deck is going to do everything that this handheld can do. It's got a much stronger processor in it. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.